elderly people should swap out drugs from old-fashioned habits to stay healthy and live longer, according to the chief medical officer. Sir Chris Whitty is urging older people to take up things such as walking to help with their health, as he unveiled an annual report outlining the UK's ageing population. He said that elderly people will increasingly be concentrated in rural and coastal areas, which must be redesigned in order to help them live independently and for longer. The medical expert suggested that it is important to end the taboo around death, with end-of-life plans important for the aging community in order to help them live as healthily as possible until their final days, reports The Mirror. Professor Whitty added that pensioners should try ditching their pills if medication results in side effects that tend to outweigh their benefits during later years. He told a media briefing, "There are lots of things people can do themselves, which will delay the point where they first have disability and then multi-morbidity, and they are old-fashioned things actually. Lots of exercise, having mental stimulation and a social network, eating a reasonably balanced diet, not too much high-fat, sugar, salt, moderate alcohol, stopping smoking if you do. They're old-fashioned, but they still work." With people living longer, the growing elderly population is expected to dominate smaller towns and villages. However, major cities are expected to maintain current young-to-old ratios. Professor Whitty said in later life it can sometimes be beneficial to go through medications with a doctor and to stop taking some. He said, "The idea that you have a treatment that is highly effective and doesn't have side effects is usually a fantasy. There's always a trade-off. One of the things geriatricians are often very good at doing is meeting this person who's on 25 drugs and just going through it and saying, actually you just don't need to have at least half of these. At this point in your life, this is not going to help you, the side effects cumulatively are going to be quite problematic." The report found that living longer in poor health is not inevitable. However, homes and public areas must be changed to help people get out and about easier in later years, with activity key to include in daily routines. Join the Daily Records WhatsApp community here and get the latest news sent straight to your messages. He said, "If I was to highlight just one factor, it would be that exercising for the longest possible time has a huge positive impact on both physical and mental health. Let's take the rural environment. You think surely this person can do lots of exercise. Well, if you actually look, they will often not have a pavement between their house and the walking trail that's maybe half a mile away. So they'd have to either walk along a very busy road, or through a muddy field. Both of those are difficult. You need to think about this from the point of view of older people. According to research, people become less active as they age, with a third of those aged 75 to 85 as well as 57% of those aged 85 and over physically inactive." The expert added that modern homes are designed for young families with little thought given to older people. For example, the professor explained that things like downstairs bathroom are required for those later in life who live mainly downstairs. Calling for people to discuss end-of-life wishes, he said, "We shouldn't shy away from this. The difficulty often is someone gets ill in the middle of the night, in a care home, the carer doesn't know them, the GP is an on-call GP. They come into hospital and the hospital doesn't know them. If you don't know what someone's wishes are in advance, it's very difficult at that point to have a serious, rational conversation. That might be, I want to go to hospital but I don't want to go to intensive care, or I want to have treatment but I don't want to have an operation." He added, "You're very satisfied as a doctor when you meet someone who's facing their end saying I've had a good innings. I've had a great life and then work things through with them. That's what most people want." Professor Dame Linda Partridge, Vice President of the Royal Society, said, "Supporting an aging population to live well for longer will be a defining challenge of the 21st century, for the UK and many other economies." Newsletter here.